Vacancies suck. Every landlord knows this, but the truth is they don't have to suck as much. Over the last few years, I have filled hundreds of vacancies right here in Bryan College Station. And during that time, I have dialed in my system for providing consistent results. These results are vacancies that are filled 30% faster than market average. That's about 20 days. Rental income's 8% over market average. Here in town, that's $100 to $160 per month of increased income. And we just see less headaches because we have less tire kick. In this video, I'm gonna share with you the exact tips and tricks that I've used to fill vacancies faster, get more rental income, have fewer headaches, and ultimately land you the type of tenant you want living in your property long term. Every second that your property sits vacant, you are losing money. So let's talk about how to fill vacancies faster. The number one tip that I have in this entire video about filling vacancies in Bryan College Station is to pre-lease. That means that as soon as your tenants give you a non-renewal notice, which should be at least 4 months prior to the lease end date, you immediately begin marketing and showing that property. Guys, this gives you the runway you need, the 4 months you need to find a replacement tenant so that you never actually realize a true vacancy. Tip number 2 for filling a vacancy quickly is to post your unit where tenants are looking. In this case, there's 2 websites, Zillow and Facebook Marketplace, but they're not without their downside. Zillow does cost you some money, and Facebook Marketplace, well, it has some tire kickers, but we're gonna cover that later. There's no point in posting on Facebook and Zillow if your pictures are garbage, which is why tip number 3 for filling fast is to get professional photos done of the unit. Now, I'd recommend you get them done while they're vacant. That usually means thinking ahead before the current tenants move in and having those pictures taken. But if it is occupied, that's fine too. I recommend that you do whatever you can to incentivize those tenants to tidy up or even clean it yourself, or heck, even hire a cleaner. I don't care what it takes. Just make sure you get great pictures. It will make you stand out in this market. Everyone knows the minute you post anything on Facebook Marketplace, you're gonna get flooded with tire kickers, with ridiculous requests and questions, which of course causes headaches, which is why I've got 3 tips to decrease your headaches when you've got a listing. My first tip and my favorite tip is to have a canned response for all inquiries, be it on Facebook Marketplace, Zillow, or anywhere else. This copy and paste response will include some very basic and important information that's probably already posted on your listing, but you're gonna reiterate it. I would include the rent rate, the move-in date, very important. They always miss the move-in date. I would include your pet policy, whether or not you accept housing vouchers, Section 8, HUD, kind of all the same. I would include your screening criteria, and then I would include next steps. If that all works for them, the move-in date, the pet policy, the screening criteria, then they should call you, email you, text you, or my favorite, book a showing on your calendar. Which brings me to tip number 2 for decreasing your headache, and that's to set up an automatic calendar. I recommend we use Google, which has a great calendar, or Calendly, which is what I personally use. These calendars are gonna save you so much time. For one, you're gonna put in your availability, saving the back and forth of does Wednesday at 2 p.m. work for you. But 2, it acts as a pre-screening mechanism for you. You see, both Calendly and I think Google allows you to include questions. So they pick a time that works for them, and then they've got to answer a set of questions. I recommend that these questions are the same information that we included in that automatic response. The move-in date, the rent rate, and your pre-screening criteria. What are your minimum screenings? Let's make sure that this person is qualified before they actually go see the property. A lot of times they'll book a showing and you'll look at the screening questions and it'll say, hey, I want a move-in date of August 15th when your availability is in mid-June. Or they'll say, my credit score is only 400 when your minimum is 600. That's your opportunity to reach out to this potential tenant and say, hey, what gives? Sometimes there's a workaround, but a lot of times you just cancel the booking because they're not gonna be qualified, and I just saved you a bunch of headache. One of my biggest headaches when I was a property manager was having a bunch of people apply who weren't gonna get approved. One of the ways that we decrease the volume of applications that we get, and therefore screenings that we have to do, because check your laws, but you probably probably need to screen all those folks that come in, fair housing reasons, and then legally deny them, which can be an annoying process. But we can avoid all of that if we have a slightly higher application fee. So my third tip is have a high but reasonable application fee. We find that $50 to $100 is high enough to prevent the flood of applications, but still low enough that it's reasonable for a great tenant to apply. But headaches are worth it if you're making enough money, right? So let's talk about how we can get the highest rental income for your property. This is the one tip you need to make the most money on your rental property, because I'm going to assume you're already doing the basics because you've subscribed to this channel. So you already have a move-in date in May, June, and July, which is the peak renter season. You already have a rental property in peak condition, and you already have availability to show during lunch breaks, evenings, and weekends, so that there's plenty of time to get potential tenants into the property. You're already doing all of that. So now you're going to focus on price strategy. Now the price strategy is directly tied to the pre-leasing, meaning that you've got 4 months to fill this vacancy. With those 4 months, you're going to do the following. In the first month, usually we can fill a vacancy in about 30 to 40 days. So in that first month, you're really going to push for a high rent rate. Let's shoot for 5 to 10% over the market average. So if the market average is $2,000, we're shooting for $2,200. Then if we don't rent it, which is rare, we roll into months 2 and 3. In months 2 and 3, let's drop that rent rate down to just below market average. Let's call it $2,050. That would be a great rent considering the average is $2,000. And if we still don't fill it, as we roll into month 4, we're going to drop down to just below market average. Call it $1,950. This ensures that we fill that vacancy before the current tenant moves out, so we never have a true vacancy, because vacancy is the enemy to every landlord out there. If you use this system, you will consistently get above market rents. The important thing is to listen to what the market is telling you. So if you have no showings, if you have no inquiries, if people tell you your place is overpriced, maybe you should listen to them. But that strategy has been our go-to for getting over market rents consistently over the last 6 years here in Bryan College Station. The bonus tip is if you want no headaches, you want to fill faster, and you want to fill it above market rents, then hire us here at Schwartz Realty Group. We will help you fill your vacancy through what's called a lease listing. It's something that we do for our clients, and I'd love to talk to you whether or not we are a good fit for you and your rental portfolio. If you want to have that conversation, again, down in the description below is all my contact information to include a Calendly link. I'd love to chat with you. But if you're going to continue to DIY it, this is the channel for you. So make sure you like, subscribe, and until next week, when I drop that next video, you take it easy.